Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today in the Locher Room. I'm Alan Locher. Ozie Nzeribe is an actor, rapper, and model whose creativity, talent, and humanitarianism belie his young age. Ozie is currently starring in the new Apple TV Plus drama Swagger that premiered in October, and episode 6 airs tomorrow evening. Ozie is a youth ambassador for the Grammys and has become an internationally renowned recording artist who is also modeled for Louis Vuitton. In addition to his current role in Swagger, he is known for his recurring role as Todd in Shameless, and he has previously guest starred on Jamie Foxx's series Dad, Stop Embarrassing Me. He can be seen in the Mr. X Family Show on the Africa Independent Television Network, Hulu's Little Fires Everywhere, and in Beyonce's Black is King film and music video. He will be seen in the upcoming film I Want It All alongside Darren DeWitt Hansen, Rick Ross, Little Durr, Nas, and Busta Rhymes. Ozie is here today to discuss his feelings about conquering his own learning disability and then playing a teen with the same issue on Swagger, as well as his mission to give back by regularly traveling to Africa to help end racism and poverty, working with local communities. Swagger is streaming now on Apple Plus. Please welcome to the Locher Room, Ozie Nzeribe. Hey, Ozie.
Hey, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm great. And you?
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Congratulations on your new role on Swagger.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
The series is based on Kevin Durant's youth basketball experiences. Did you know who Kevin was?
Of course. Yeah, and we're a basketball house over here. My dad, everybody over here. Yeah, but it was very definitely a big opportunity to be a part of this project, especially with Kevin on it.
That's awesome. Tell us about the character you play, Royale Hughes.
Yes, Royale Hughes. Royale is kind of a shy guy. He's that one kid that really wants to fit in and just be a part of the group, but his disability is just, kind of putting a block on that. It's not really allowing him to partake fully in his favorite sport, basketball, which is dyslexia kind of affects his playing, which kind of results a little badly to the other players thinking he sucks or doesn't know anything about the game. But in reality, he knows more about the game than anybody else. He just has to overcome this and also deal with his dad that also wants him to be the best at it, but's coming down really hard on him and in the process of pushing him to be his best self.
And dyslexia is something that you had as a child as well, correct?
Yes, this is correct.
So what, when you saw the role of Royale come up, what was your thought initially?
Well, initially, it was actually a funny process because I originally didn't go out for Royale. That wasn't on the main casting list. I went out for one of the other roles, which was Phil. And funny enough, but I auditioned with Phil, went in, we did all the training. It took like the rest of that month, I think, for auditioning, then the basketball auditioning, then all this. But then near the end, they were looking for somebody like much taller, 6', really up there to be like the big man on campus type thing. And unfortunately, I didn't fit that role, but they had me another one since they really liked me and to see how I would do with it. And I liked it immediately. They didn't really show that my character had it at first, but reading into it more and going into further the script process and everything, I found out later that he did. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy because a lot of things that they're mentioning here about this character, I was like, oh shit, I went through that. That's like,
similarities.
Yeah.
Kind of freaky when that happens, something you experience in real life and then the character you portray.
Then I get to play that character.
Yeah. You just mentioned the basketball process.
Yeah.
So, in casting a basketball drama, I guess, are they seeing you go up and down the court? They want to see you move?
Yeah. So initially, the original plan, they were definitely looking first and foremost for actual ballers and stuff that they would prefer to turn into actors, but also, actors that can turn into ballers and stuff like that. So for me, like, I'm decent, but they wanted, so for that audition process, when I was still auditioning for Phil, they needed like, that hardcore real AAU player. And although I played basketball, I wasn't really part of a team or did it like professionally or seriously on any teams and stuff. But you know what I mean? So it was a long process for both the scripts and the basketball. Although it was cool and fun, shoot around with everybody, but they had us running up and down, doing certain drills that they, had installed, a couple plays that they installed that was supposed to be on the series and everything. So yeah, that was a couple of the drills we did.
Yeah. Keeping you in shape, I guess, huh?
Definitely. Especially after when we did initially start the show. Yeah, every morning, 6 a.m., get up, do the basketball training. Basketball training actually started before we actually started filming initially, because when we got there to the DMV area, Richmond, Virginia area is where we filmed it. We started, immediately with the basketball training, and then I'm pretty sure a week or so later, when all the cameras and everything, crew was ready, then we started filming.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Had you spent much time in Richmond, Virginia prior to the role?
No, my first time there was for filming the show.
Nice. Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was really cool, but then the limitations with when once COVID hit, we weren't really allowed to go out like that or do too many things because you have to be real safe and kind of in our little bubble at this apartment that we had. But the cast made it fun. We all most of us stayed in the same area, so we always just met up on like the top lounge floor, hung out, played games, ate food.
Probably very much like college.
A little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like dorms a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, when they are limiting, your activity to keep you safe, it totally must have done that. Now that you filmed the series, do you think your basketball skills have improved?
I definitely think they've improved because they really made sure we were on like point with it. Like even days we were filming, even our break days, like they just want to make sure, we're just keeping tight with it. And not gonna lie, I haven't been playing as much as I, usually
you should
and stuff. My shots could probably use some work, but I'm still good and I'm down to get back into it anytime. But yeah.
That's great. So can you talk about your dyslexia? Do you what age were you diagnosed? Do you remember a lot of it?
So I wasn't really aware of this until maybe a little after freshman year of high school. So this is a long time going, and initially just me thinking, and everybody else, like me thinking initially that I was just one of those fewer kids that doesn't really keep up. And I'm just thinking like, I'm just like one of the slower kids. And it was really difficult because I'm seeing all these other kids excelling and understanding certain things that I couldn't. And I was just like, it was a lot of my parents and teachers, everybody just thought I was just uninterested or just not willing to do the work or this or that. But it was just really that thing that was just a big problem for me. And it was, more or less got better when I got older. Like even now, like I still, I have some little minor problems, but nothing I can't fix. Because obviously if I'm doing the script and memorizing and reading them out and not messing up during set, but that was, definitely when I was younger, it was a bigger problem. But,
was there one thing in particular that sort of helped you, conquer this or,
Yes. After I moved to online, because after sophomore year of high school, like a little bit before it started or after it started, I went to online school. So online school, and I would come home and, and I get the one-on-one, like with tutors that would come over, like one tutor specifically would come over, help me in the way, I guess she's trained in, those ways to try to help. But literally what helped a lot was the slower pace, because on online school, it lets you work at your own time. Let's say whatever years you need left in high school, 2, 3, it lets you work it out. It's not going to pressure you. Okay, you need to get this done now. This is due. And then especially on top of like, because I can't, be in those regular situations at that time because it's just a lot, especially because I'm kind of slowly trying to get through this lesson and another one comes up and I got to go to the next period.
Right. And when you're in a full classroom of
and you don't really get the attention you need because they can't really stop the class to say, okay, I need to give Ozie attention. Everybody do, So it's definitely helped a lot with me. Not that it's for everybody. I would say everybody just leave school and some kids do better in a classroom in a public environment and in those type of settings. But me, it really helped me to kind of slow down and just kind of like get back into where I'm supposed to be in my grade level and all that. And I ended up actually graduating early on it. So this is
That's awesome.
definitely 100%.
So it definitely helped. If there was, if there was a young person going through this right now, listening, what's the one piece of advice you would love to share?
I'll give a little more than one, but first,
Okay.
if you
I
think
won't limit you.
so for one, if you think that there's anything wrong with you, even though if you're not sure, because you can't really self-diagnose yourself, you don't know what you could be going through. Let your parents know, because yes, on a small part, it's my fault that I didn't really, because there was these things that I was going through that I didn't understand, but they were happening, but I didn't let anybody know. I just kept going about my business and hoping, I'll do better, this or that. Definitely let somebody know if you're having any problems in school, so you can, I don't know, get the help that you need as far as tutoring or any of those special tutors that can help with certain, disabilities like that. And two, don't beat yourself up over it, because for the longest time, I literally just thought I was just, the slow kid, and just getting in my own head and all that. It's literally, just because right now it's not working for you, it literally turns into a superpower later. I'm not going to hold you, because for certain cases like mine, my memory, as far as like, it's not, I'm going to compare it to photographic memory. It's like, as far as my scripts, I read something for a little bit, and then I literally just retrace the steps in my head. And, it low-key later turns out to help you. So, don't see it as, it's something bad, you can't overcome it, you can't, you know what I mean? There's definitely ways you can help it and get better, because now I'm not even struggling in school. I'm in college now, my second year. I'm doing really well. I'm still, reading books, doing my scripts and everything. And it's like, there's always going to be like a little maybe problems, like, okay, this word,
A challenge,
a little
but
challenge.
you're up for the challenge.
Yeah, I'm up for the challenge. Nothing you can't overcome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I love what you said. I mean, really you do have to get your parents to hear you, and support you in all of that.
Definitely.
100%. Talk about what you were like as a child. What kind of things did you get into?
I was a kid. I was a rugrat. I was just a little rugrat, bouncing off the walls, doing flips in the park, climbing trees. Like, I was a real adventurous kid. I'm always doing all this type of stuff. I'm into basketball. I'm into all the sports stuff. I'm into, fighting, karate. First chance I got. But music is
what kind of karate?
Karate, martial arts, when I was a kid. And just because, I saw ninjas, I saw Power Rangers, like, I want to do that. But, I never really, I was one of those kids, I didn't stick with anything for too long. And it was like, I tried it. I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I go, okay, put me in wrestling. I don't want to do this anymore. I tried a little bit of everything. But one constant thing was music, because I am an artist. I am a rapper and singer. This is something that I've definitely been 100% constant in my life ever since a kid, before, like, not like I was writing songs, but I always did covers, rapped as much as I could at parties, weddings, this and that. But that's something that I was very much into, and I still am up until now.
Still passionate about it. When did you first start singing, rapping?
I made my first song, like initially, like making actual music and stuff, when I was 13 years old. But music has been a part of my life since, like, I'll say 6 years old. I was doing covers, but 13 is definitely the first time I did my first song, and I actually collabed with Ray J Norwood on that. And from there, just kept making more.
Hater free, right?
Hater free, yes.
Yeah. And your rapper name is Zmny.
It is Zmny, yeah.
Where did you come up with that from?
I actually got it from my dad, and
I love that.
Not too long of a story. It was like, as a kid, I was always obsessed with money, just always having change anywhere I can get it. I'm on the couch cushions, digging for it under the chairs and all that. And I would go to my mom. Dad hasn't given me allowance here. Can I have my money? Go to my dad. Mom hasn't given me allowance here. Can I have my money? And Z is just the second letter of my name, Ozie. So he just he just called me Z Dollars, and later became Z Money. So
Zmny.
Ran with it, didn't drop it.
It is a great rapper name. It is a great rapper name. Totally. You mentioned earlier, and I wanted to ask about your sophomore in college. Do you have a specialty that you're studying?
Right now, I'm doing criminal justice.
Really?
Yeah, I know that everybody's like, wait,
no, I think phenomenal.
Oh yeah, but everybody's like, why not music? Why not this? But it's just
No,
something I
that's
wanted to try, honestly. It's not like I had a specific route that, oh, I always wanted to go into that, but it's just something that I found interesting. And,
was there something that triggered criminal justice for you?
not gonna lie, it was actually my second choice. First choice was psychology, but
Hmm.
my school, they only offer child psychology, which isn't the same thing. So I just ended up going there. But the reason I wanted psychology, I think, because as a kid, I think that's what I was kind of drawn to in a bit, because my mom and everybody, like certain people would just say like, you could really have like a future in that possibly. It's like, I don't know. It's just something that's always kind of come up in a way. I can't really explain it. It's just, but I just went with it. It just something like, you ever get something you were told as a kid and it kind of just locks in with you
It
up until
sticks in
then?
your head.
Yeah. So when I think of college, I was like, okay, majors. It's like, oh, psychology. Like my mom said. So tried that, but criminal justice just out of the blue, it looked cool to me. And actually, one of my favorite shows, The Flash. The character
Mhm.
Barry Allen works as a CSI, and I was like, that'd be kind of cool. You know what I mean? I'll be solving crimes, helping the police, and so I just tried
Nice.
it, gave it a shot.
Well, bravo, Ozzy, for still going to college, because you are a rapper, you are an actor making money, and keep doing it, because it's no matter what, even if you don't use it, it's good to have the degree. And
No,
smart
100%. And
smart
initially,
move on your.
the whole college thing or school thing in general was just at the time, like, when I was still struggling, I was like, oh, this is just something I'm not really interested in anymore. It's like really getting difficult. But after graduating high school early, it's kind of me proving to myself, like, okay, I can definitely do this now, because I didn't see myself getting this far at all as a kid. Like, I was a realistic kid. I play a lot, but I'm very realistic. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing I'm not really doing well. I'm probably not gonna end up too great, but let me just have all the fun I can now as a kid and worry about all the adult stuff later. And this is like a realization I had in third grade, and like
Wow.
kind of like giving up before I even started and all that. And that's another reason why I would definitely urge kids to let their parents know, because like that's sad. I think back to that, I'm like, wow, like I literally gave up. And I'm not even into like half of the harder things in life you have to go through. But like
Right,
for a kid
you
to
gave
feel
up
that
at a
way,
really young age,
yeah,
third
that's what I'm
grade.
saying.
So
So whatever I
yeah.
can do to not help a kid not feel that way, and realize that you can definitely help earlier. It would be a dream come true for me. I would definitely want them to not feel that way.
That's awesome. Talk about your parents, and at 13, uh, you going into music and recording. What was their reaction? What was their support like?
Funny enough, because especially people would assuming like, parents, like they only want kids to, okay, lawyer, doctor, just practical, real straightforward shooter jobs. But my parents are really supportive. My whole family was very supportive of my musical endeavors and everything I've been going through. And it's definitely a shock, because a lot of my other cousins or relatives, like their parents are more, because that's just how they were raised. But my
Mm-hmm.
parents, the second I told my mom, like she's always been interested, because she's been seeing that in me since I was like a kid. Like I said, when I was younger, I was always doing like, covers at family events, weddings, this and that. Like I'll just be the little kid that just comes out there and just starts rapping this one song, singing this one song. And my mom was just all for it when I wanted to get
So
serious.
one of these days we're going to see those videos, huh? Of you
Yeah,
perform.
yeah. You're gonna see
I'm
them.
sure somebody's got them hidden in a box somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But let me not even be embarrassed. That's where I started out.
Hey, we
Love
all
it.
start somewhere, right?
Also somewhere, right? Yes,
For
sir.
for sure. You recorded the song though, "Hater Free" at 13, right? You wrote it at 11.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Actually, I did. I wrote it at 11, but I don't know. I didn't really feel. I was kind of nervous as far as dropping it
Okay.
and releasing it. Wasn't sure if it was going to do well. Wasn't sure if I was going to sound great. So I held off for a long while, and then eventually ended up putting it out. And it's
Had
funny
you
enough,
attempted to write prior to that?
I did, and it wasn't really working well enough for me. So like we had, and this is possibly comes into play with dyslexia again, because it was just really hard for me to do certain things like that. Like I can think of the vision, but it's not really coming out as well. So I would have like, they would have like someone to kind of help me put my words in, you know what I mean, in order, and like kind of help me get everything just straightened out and tidied up and stuff before releasing. But after that, then so like 12 I initially was ready to release it, and this is when I was about to turn 13. So technically 12 is when I really did it then, because we did the music video right afterwards, and I turned 13 that day. Yeah. But when I released the whole song, yes, I was 13. Man, that seems like forever ago. That's crazy. I feel like I've been in this for like years.
I was just going to ask, do you remember what it was like to release that for the first time? And, your nerves and all of that?
Definitely excitement in the beginning part, because I just did a song and a music video. And it's like, this is stuff I'd be seeing, all my favorite artists do or other people do. And I'm like, I'm actually doing this. I'm like, that's crazy. But, when coming out, it did get some backlash because, kids like to be rude. And at this time, I'm obviously in school. So I was like, middle school-ish, 7th, 8th grade. People were instantly hating and just making a lot of making fun. There's some that were like, okay, this is good, this is cool. But like, some that just
bullied for putting your own music out.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny because at that time, like let's say during lunch hours or this, they would like spend all their time trying to comment negative stuff on my YouTube on the video, and just they're going out of their way, which really upset me back then at the time. But I don't even worry about stuff like that now, because like
at 13,
I'm saying, I try to like, I'm the only kid doing this for you would assume like they would be like, whoa, that's cool, that's this, but like a lot of them didn't really find it all that cool, I guess. But it's all good. At the time, I was more fragile at the time because it was my first thing, But like now,
at 13, we're all fragile, Oozy. Yeah, I mean, and you're being vulnerable by just putting music out. But good for you for doing it. You mentioned your favorite. You were saying your favorite artists. Who were some of your musical idols, rappers or regular singers?
At the time, a couple definitely like Jaden Smith. Justin Bieber and them, Mindless Behavior. Let's keep going. Kendrick, a lot of them. Yeah, I listened to a lot of them. Those are definitely a lot of the people that kind of got me jump started. There's a lot there's a lot more, but that's just the first started coming to head at the time. I remember that I really wanted
when you were young, who you really admired.
That I really wanted to start kind of like right after them. I watched their music videos. I watched their performances. Like, man, I want to do that. I really
I bet. When you see it done well, it definitely draws you in, and once you want to recreate that. You could work with somebody today, is there somebody today?
There's a lot of somebodies. But
who are those somebodies?
To not keep it to a big list, but short list. Chance the Rapper, Tyler the Creator, Kendrick Lamar, definitely. Jaden Smith still, Billie Eilish, Lord. And I'm going into these because I also want to try alternative rock and pop. Like I want to try different genres, not just sticking to R&B and hip hop. I kind of want to go out because those are the songs I listen to a lot, actually, but never really, have tried. But it's something I'd definitely be interested in. And to end off the list, Melanie Martinez, Oliver Tree, and the Lumineers. Lumineers was one of my favorite bands as a kid. Their song, which one was it? Do you remember Hey Ho, oh, show your family?
Yeah,
that song was like the first song as a kid where I felt like I had a crush on this one girl, and that song played, and it kind of sunk in. I loved their music from day one. I loved the Lumineers 100%. Those were my favorite band as a kid. But yeah, those are people. Those I just listed now that I would definitely want to work with, get in the studio with, and try something with. That would be like dream come true.
Well, you said like you don't want to stick to one genre, and I think that's a smart artist. Like just being open to other things and wanting to grow as an artist is probably the best way to be.
Definitely.
What's your process like for making music?
It can be sometimes different, but more constantly I find myself doing like I make the songs in my head and even what the beats would sound like and everything in my head first, and then I go to the studio and co-produce with my engineer and like try to get what I'm thinking out, which is it's difficult sometimes because it doesn't always turn out the way you would hope, you know what I mean? Because nobody lives inside your head. They can't really
I was just gonna say, right? You can't
know what
let
you're
them.
thinking, and it's really frustrating sometimes because like I have a perfect vision and a plan and I want to follow it perfectly, but when they don't turn out the way they're supposed to, I just, you know what I mean? I just like, you know what? Let's just go with it. I run with it because initially it still sounds good. It still sounds great. Maybe not my entire vision, but like I end up going with it anyway. Like a short story. I'm not gonna bore you. My recent song "Bye" that came out this year, or at least like some months ago. The original idea I had for that was completely different. I had a sample beat that I really wanted to work off of, but we couldn't get it that right. But after tinkering, it turned into something else. So I was like, you know, I'm just gonna write a whole different song because it wasn't what I was planning to, but I ended up loving it. It became a vibe, one of my favorite songs that I've done. But you know what I mean? I still have that other one locked in the vault here. But
Right.
initially,
It might just take time for it to come out.
huh?
It might just take time for it to,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm not scrapping the dream. It's definitely still there. I still want to, because the one I initially wanted to do, it was kind of like, it was called 17 Years. I wrote it when I was 17. Just initially kind of showing you inside of my life as far as the industry, music and acting and this and that, just giving you a little play-by-play. By this age, I was doing this, you know what I mean? Just all my experiences, the good, the bad, and the middle, everything. So that's something I definitely want to continue with because I feel like it can be a real powerful story. And the video idea, the concept of everything I have in my head is just awesome. I really want to push it out. So, you know, could be this year, could be next. But
down the road.
I want
to. You are an independent artist and release your music on your own record label, Zmny Records, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I do.
What was it like starting that, and what's that process been like?
Well, not gonna lie, in the beginning, I wasn't really all for it because I just really wanted to join a regular, like one that was already established and one that was already out and popular that had a lot of my favorite artists on it. But my mom was getting a lot of good advice because, especially my mom was new to it too. You know what I mean? The music scene and all that. Now she's a master. But at the time, she was just also slowly learning about all this. And she got some advice, like not really to jump into that too soon because, they could take control of this. They would have literally own you, basically. And I didn't understand it as a kid at the time, but obviously now I'm thanking mom for, protecting me from that. Because if we did, I literally could have been trapped in something that because let's say I didn't want to do music anymore, which would never be the case. But let's say I did, I wouldn't have that free option to just do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything would be planned out to a T, and I would never get to just do
I think we all, any musician can learn from somebody like Taylor Swift, who's now re-releasing all her own music too.
Yes, 100%.
And because she wants to own it, and she should.
Yeah. Everybody
if you write it,
you
write it.
And but I'm definitely slowly, as I got to see my mom's point of view, like it was definitely a smarter way to do a lot of stuff. I'm not restricted by anything. I can release anything I want, anytime I want, and the kind of music I want, not being kind of told initially what to do. But definitely started to see the perks in it.
Well, that's awesome to have that support from mom and somebody who's really, guiding you with the best advice for you.
Definitely. And definitely later, or sometime soon, I kind of got this kind of good advice that I want to actually try possibly partnering with a label instead of being under their artist, you know what I mean? Like making a partnership and find something and make it that. So I'm open to doing that now. That's something I'm kind of working on, but I want to do it after. I'm actually in the middle of putting together an album. And
awesome.
Yeah. And after this is when I'm initially gonna try to pitch, see how the songs do. And start going and pitching to certain labels, seeing if they want to partner up.
You're definitely doing the right things. You're also a youth ambassador for the Grammys. Can you talk about what a youth ambassador does?
So initially, I have charities and stuff that in Nigeria, Atlanta, and I've been doing that since 14, 15. For Nigeria, I'd fly back and from our own pockets, we would, fund some schools, bring the new instruments, food, and just have certain days and little concert days. And
how did that get started for you?
As far as that, I've always had this want and need to help anybody that's less fortunate or anybody that's not in the same position as me, because it's wow, what if I was in this position? I would definitely want someone to at least, help. I'm not and not saying people should every day go down to the soup kitchen, do this, but like, you know, even the little things, like a couple of times I would see people in the street, like, you know, there's people literally begging with children on the street, and then you would just like drive right past them, like, you know, even $1, something could help. So initially my mom did have the grander idea for this, because, you know, I'm a kid, I don't really have that grand scheme of type of things, but to like magnify my need for this and turn it into a, like, you know, I mean, something more. So mixing with my music, and as far as the Atlanta one, I made a song called Promise, which is basically talking about, you know, people not focusing on the right things. You know, you're focused on the money, the this, like cool things that you have, which is fine. You can have all that, but, you know what I mean, doesn't hurt to help even a little bit. So I made a whole song about that. And in Atlanta, I got an award for, you know, youth ambassador for this, like the couple weeks I was out there. And that program began. But before that program was the Nigerian one. And I did that first, which, because, you know, we're Nigerian. We have ties back there. My parents, well, my mom has like, she had like friends back there who know who could hook up with the certain events and just kind of get this whole thing started. And when I go out there to do tours, that also helped me set up like charity events. Like one was for the Motherless Children's Organization, which was like a foster home for the kids. So those are a couple of schools that we came out, donated instruments to, you know, gave scholarships and everything. And to see the smiles on everybody's faces made me smile, because that's like it's like me helping people, and it's I want to do even more later, but as of now, that was just something I'm really glad I got to experience and go down there and just turn up with the kids. I jumped in the crowd and we're just all like, I'm singing my song, and just everybody's having a good time. It was like a little party. And after that, we went to the streets. The next time I came there, like just ran in the middle of the streets. We got like a food truck, and like this truck of like merchandise of like t-shirts and clothes, and, you know, just buying all the little, you know, term hawkers, like, you know, the little street vendors that have like, you know, everything from we helped out as much businesses as we could in the area and all that. And that was just, you know, one of the greater times in my life. And, you know, COVID kind of made it hard to kind of really go back and do a lot of things, but definitely hoping this upcoming year to like go back to there and a lot of other places and keep doing what
Well, you've donated to, you know, to help end racism and poverty, which is incredible. You know, you're a young man, you're a young Black man. How has racism affected you as a young man?
Not as much, not as harsh as, you know, I mean, like a lot of other African Americans or any other race has been through, but I've come into, you know, little problems with racism before, whether it be in certain like areas where it's not, you know, not too many Black people around, you know, they would be looking at you kind of funny or thinking like, oh no, I've been accused of stealing before, but, you know, I always make sure to keep my receipts. This is what my mom always tells me, and I keep this till today. And even though, like, you know, certain places like doesn't require, like, just always, because I don't want that kind of situation where it's like, oh, it doesn't have a receipt. Oh no, he took it. Oh no, this all this back and forth. I'm like, I did.
Ozie, I had never heard that until George Floyd's murder and Twitch on Ellen DeGeneres' show, you know, the dancer Twitch.
Yes.
He basically told the same story, that his mother always made him keep the receipts on him. And it was really, you know, just, I never thought of it. And, you know, it just breaks my heart that that's something you have to do. But you know, that's a smart mom, both of your moms, protecting their children, because if that's what we have to do to make sure you are safe, then it's, you know, putting a receipt in your pocket is nothing, you know, like it's nothing, but it's a shame that has to happen. You know, it's just a shame, but you know, I'm glad you don't experience it too much. And you have a great head on your shoulders to, you know,
thank you.
Just being smart is the most important.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So I think that every day, there's nothing really major I go through, just the casual, like, let's say I go to a certain neighborhood again, that's just more majority, not of Black people, African Americans. And, you know, you get certain looks and people just feeling unsafe around you, or just these kind of tense and scared looks. And I have to like go out of my way to be super friendly. Oh, hi, ma'am. Like, how are you? Like, oh, nice dog. Just start conversation. Always keep that energy, like just to show like I'm not a threat, or that, you know what I mean,
Right.
I'm going to do anything or show you any harm or this or that. That I have to do that pretty often. But, you know, whatever makes people feel more comfortable, you know, it is, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of annoying because my area majority, you know, doesn't have that many Black people either. Same with my cousin's area that we go to visit, and he's kind of the only, you know, a little bit of the only Black, his family's a little bit of the only Black people that have in that community as well. Same thing that some people, let's say, either just move in or haven't, because, you know, big neighborhoods, they haven't really seen you before. They'll just kind of look, you know, like, give.
But it's, you know, it's important to have these conversations. You know, I'm gay and I'm Jewish, so I'm definitely seen as other, you know, to many people. So you know, I understand it in a small way. And to me, it's really just education and having conversations. You and I just talking about it, you know, smartly. So music was, you know, this passion.
Yeah.
Where did acting come along?
Acting, very unexpected, very, very unexpected, because like I said, young age, wasn't really thinking about it, because as far as like, I know I can't read really well. I know I can't really do that whole memorization thing if it ever came to that. But acting was actually my brother's passion when we were kids. My mom kind of took us to acting classes. He's been in a couple commercials when we were younger and all this. And it was something that, honestly, the reason why I hadn't come across is because that reason, as far as the dyslexia and this and all that, is because I'm like, you know what? No, just no. My mom took us to a couple of these and I just wasn't feeling it. But like, I've been acting for 4 years now. So when I first initially started, it came out literally out of nowhere. We were working in the studio. One of the guys we were with, that I've been working with for a while, had connections to like auditions and certain, you know, SAG things and TV show series, all that type of stuff, and asked me if I would want to possibly jump in and join, like, you know what I mean, like try something. And I'm like, I don't know about that. But my mom kind of, you know, kind of pushed me.
She nudged you a little.
She nudged me a little bit, you know, into doing this. And I'm like, okay. She's like, just try. You never know if you're gonna like it. You know what I mean? Just try it once, and if you don't like it, you don't got to do it again. You know what I mean? And I was like,
try it once. Hey, try it once, and you end up, you know, your first role on Shameless. That ain't bad.
That's what I'm saying. I tried it once, and the audition was for Shameless, and I didn't even know what the show was at the time because I hadn't watched it, and I didn't know. But when I went to audition at Warner Bros. Studios, I go and I'm seeing all of these actors that I watch on TV, and I'm like, I'm not getting this. I'm not getting this, because these are like literally a lot of people like I binge watch at home, and I'm like, yeah, no. But I go there, I go into the room. There's like 2 ladies auditioning me, and after I, you know, did my script, and I did pretty good at memorizing. And at this time, this is like I didn't realize, like, okay, I kind of got better at it, the whole memorization thing, and, you know, kind of. So I didn't mess up on it. I did as best as I could. Afterwards, the 2 ladies gave me the look. They're like, blank expression, dead expression. Okay, thank you. Next. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. Leave the room. I go home. I'm like, I didn't expect it to get it anyway. And then I think like about a week later, my mom gets a call and she's screaming, jumping up and down the living room. I run in and I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? She's like, you got it. I'm like, God, what? And then she told me, and I was like, oh, like I really didn't expect, you know, to get that. But, you know, glad I did. After doing this, I got on set. I'm seeing like, oh, so classrooms like this aren't really real. You know, it's just like the fourth wall thing. It's like a couple chairs, and they make you think that it's like more. And we're in the locker room and all this TV stuff. And I kind of fell in love with it. And initially I thought this was gonna be a fluke, but Shameless kept calling me back to do more episodes. And I was like, this is kind of cool. Then after that, not too long after, I started doing more auditions and booking other stuff on other places. I was like, oh shoot, I could really do this. I could really be an actor or whatever. I could really do this and, like, you know, work with these people. And it was just really cool. I'm glad my mom nudged me in the right direction. Otherwise I would not be in it right now. So
That's so funny. Well, you got to work with, one of my favorite actors on Shameless. He became Christian Isaiah, who played Liam.
Yeah.
And you worked with some of the others as well. Emma Kenny grew up in the town that I live in right now.
Oh,
I
seriously?
don't think she lives here. Yeah, she grew up I'm in New Jersey, and she grew up
New
in New
Jersey.
Jersey.
Hey,
Yeah,
okay, small world, small world.
yeah, she grew up here. But what was Christian like?
Christian, goofy little kid, but he's like so grown. He's like a grown kid. And like we would talk, he would hold conversations with me that I'm like kind of like shocked because I was like, what is he like 10 or like 11? Like he's
So
like
you two were supposed to be in the same grade, right?
yes, that's the funny. I was supposed to be like just way held back. Way held back kid. I was just like, okay, this little kid. And this and that. But it was so funny. And then what happened was he knows like I'm the biggest, baddest kid there. And he's being bullied, I guess, by a girl. And funny enough, he kind of hires me for protection. In exchange, he does my homework.
Yeah.
And I protect him from bullies and this and that, which is so funny because she's such a sweet girl in real life. We still talk to today, Sarah. It's so funny. But no, yeah, then later it grows into something more like, more than just a paid partnership. Now it's like we're friends and I'm like big brother, little brother type thing, like friends. I'm looking after him.
He moves in, doesn't he?
He moves in for a bit. He does. Not like in the at-home life. And I kind of in a way teach him because he was raised by
the Gallaghers,
a white family. Yeah, the Gallaghers.
The Gallaghers are ridiculous.
They came to me kind of, I'm teaching kind of his roots, kind of how to be a black man. And you know what I mean? And then after this, he's just so into the black culture. He goes to school in a dashiki afro. He's kind of trying to school his other siblings about like, African American and the history and this and that, because that's like, my household in the show, me and my grandmother. And, you walk in, you see, the Obama on the wall, you see just, black historians everywhere, and it's just we kind of teach them, and it's really cool. And
it was a great story because it is true. He grew up in a white household. He doesn't know his culture.
Doesn't know. Yeah,
sure. No, it was a great addition, and I mean you're older than he is, but I mean he was great in that role for somebody so young too. So the two of you together, it worked really, really well.
Kid has time. He does.
So do you. You also worked on Little Fires Everywhere. What was that like?
It was really cool because I love Hulu. I binge a lot of my shows. A lot of my shows are on Hulu that I like to just watch and binge and watch with my brother and stuff. It was really cool.
So pretty fun to say. You can watch me on Hulu.
It is kind of fun. To say. And it was really cool because I think I didn't realize she was going to be in it until a little after I booked it. So Reese Witherspoon, Kerry Washington, I was like, yo, that's insane. My mom's a big fan. Anyway, and she was like, just stalking in the trailer. She was like waiting in the trailer. She just kept peeking out, waiting to see them so she can get a picture in. Fortunately, she didn't, but maybe next time, maybe another time. But it was really fun being on that set and being on Hulu. That's really cool.
That's cool. I mean, especially when you watch it. And you have a new role in the film I Want It All premiering next year. Can you tell us about the role?
I can tell you a little bit about the role.
Yeah, just a little about the role.
Me and I'm playing the older brother. I have a little brother. We're both young, 15, and he's a little like maybe a couple years younger. Our dad is in that life, like the kind of gangster lifestyle in this, and he would sometimes take us on his when he goes to handle that type of business, but we'd wait in the car. So this time we wait in the car, and our dad we hear bang bang in the house that he was, I guess, maybe collecting money for, whatever he was doing for that business side. And my brother and I immediately panic and kind of charges in my brother, my youngest one. It's kind of a story like my youngest brother wants to be into music and I want to be like my dad in that life. I want to take over the business. I want to be, that gangster around the block and this and that. But roles kind of flip. And when we grow up, so we're playing the younger versions of different actors. And when we kind of grow up, my brother is the one that takes over that lifestyle, funny enough. And I'm not the one that's in it anymore. But let's say the loss of our father, that's kind of makes us a little bit drifted apart as kids, you know, and as we get older, you see him becoming what I wanted to be, and me kind of trying to get him out of that life. But as for now, that's all I'll say. Probably even get what I was supposed to. But hey,
did you enjoy it?
Yes, definitely enjoyed it.
And where do you find the most joy right now? Acting or singing?
Oh, I can't choose. There's never a time I'll ever be able to choose. I love them both. I didn't think I would love anything as much as I do music, but this is something that's
great.
Just became really a part of my lifestyle, and even how I see other movies and shows now that I've been in other stuff. I'm literally a person that's like, oh, that probably took a couple hours to, like, this amount of time to film. This probably was shot in a different location and get brought back. Like, you know, I'm really just seeing all this behind the scenes stuff, and it's really, really.
Do you pay close attention to everything else going on around you?
I do, unintentionally, but it's just now become like a sixth sense that I'm just like seeing, like, okay, this wasn't there. This person got their images wrong. Like at the one point he was wearing this on his left hand, but now it's on his right hand. Continuity is messed up, and this and that. Like, I remember on our shows, continuity is everything. If you mess up, if you're not wearing exactly what they're telling you to wear for each shot, you know, it could kind of throw the whole thing off. And you know, those people that like to go on YouTube and be like, oh, 5 things wrong with Swagger. Okay, episode this, you can see clearly that he was on the left side of the bed. Then did it to point out the little mistakes. And you know what I mean? We try very much to stay away from those people. But
it's crazy though. People do notice those things.
Yeah, I honestly have no problem with it. It's more people invest in the show. That's how I know they're paying attention. That's how I know they're like invested in it.
Good point. They are definitely paying attention. Talk about you have modeled for Louis Vuitton and Adidas.
Yes.
How did those come? I mean, just tiny brands.
Tiny brand, yeah. Same way through acting was really auditions and stuff like that.
Right.
And I wasn't aware of that can also be done for modeling and all that. You just really audition, you go there, for the Louis Vuitton one, they just told us to come in like a black tee, jeans, model, take some pictures, and then afterwards, you know, they chose me, and I was allowed to bring friends. That was a cool job. That was a really cool job. They literally said, if you have anybody else this age, you know, this build, like, just bring them along. So I got to bring along 2 of my friends. And
for which campaign?
The Louis Vuitton.
Wow.
The Louis Vuitton one. And it was like a school of Louis Vuitton vibe thing. So we were all in like colorful shirts, Louis Vuitton, the new design, their shoes, backpacks, and all this. And it was literally the funnest day. Because like I said, I wasn't in high school at this time. Like, I had already left. So I'm kind of missing the school vibe, mingling with classmates and this and that. So I made a lot of friends on set that day. There's literally like a whole bunch of us, literally a school filled with us. And we literally just classrooms, kicking back, having fun. Then there was lunch. It was just a really cool experience. And for the Adidas, it's funny enough, I did that on my birthday. I got the Adidas commercial on my birthday and met one of my favorite artists, Childish Gambino. He wasn't on my list, but I should have put him on my list. My bad. But Childish Gambino, it was his Adidas commercial. And
oh, wow.
I didn't know he was working on it until I got there, and I was like, "This is a good birthday." It is.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to me. I think I was like, 16. I just turned 16, and I was like, man, this is like the coolest day ever. This is the coolest birthday ever. But yeah, I should get back into modeling.
That's awesome. Yeah. You're doing everything right. I was going to ask, because I asked about your music, who are some actors that you admire?
Actors I admire, let's say, I'm going to say this first, only because literally this guy cracks me up. Ryan Reynolds is one of the funniest guys out there.
Agree.
I don't know. Have you seen his latest film with The Rock?
No, but I do think he's one of the funniest. I mean, he's just naturally. It's so naturally funny. It's not. I can't go 5 seconds without looking at this guy, and he's just doing something completely hilarious and ridiculous, and I'm just cracking up, dying, laughing. This guy is definitely up in my top 10. Who else? Tyler Posey. I liked, and the reason I choose him, and this is an actor on the TV series Teen Wolf. If you're not, I thought it was him. Yeah.
just to see, I like him not just because he was the big bad wolf, but his acting progression throughout the show grew steadily. And this is something, again, I only noticed because after I started acting, I'm like, I'm noticing these things now. So his progression, because from the beginning, I think pretty sure he was like kind of new to it a little bit, and coming into it, I see each season he's like bringing it. You just see his character grow, and he's really selling that character. I cannot imagine anybody else playing this guy, and even in other films that I've seen him in, and he's also a triple. He does music as well. Like I like this guy. This guy is one of my favorite actors. I would love to work with him and see him in more stuff. Same with Ryan Reynolds. Let's see. Also, Dylan O'Brien.
Ryan's taking a little break, I think.
He is taking a little break after this. He just did one film recently that came out. Red Notice. But I think he's taking a little break. He's been doing it for a long time. I've watched a good amount of his movies. This guy is hilarious. I don't think he's made a bad movie.
Yeah, I think just as Ryan Reynolds, he's even that funny. He's just that funny.
He's just that funny.
He's just that funny.
Mm-hmm. One more I'll add on to this, just real quick. Dylan O'Brien, also a Teen Wolf star, but I've also seen Maze Runner and all these other. He is hilarious. This guy he's also natural. He's just so funny and just.
I have to look his face up. I don't know if I know him.
Okay, he's like I don't know if you've ever watched maybe you know Maze Runner or Teen Wolf, but he's like his best friend on there. So
okay, I'll look him up. Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah. Dylan O'Brien.
But it's interesting that you were saying about Tyler, right?
Yeah.
Because it's when you do watch a series and you get to see season after season, you do notice actors that grow. That's the great thing of shows. I hope your swagger lasts a long time, because I think it's fun to watch an actor's progression during those types of series.
Definitely. Yeah, I think he had one of the best core character progressions in that show. Like, honestly, to see it, yeah, he just really.
So Teen Wolf and oh shit, you said your favorite series before Teen Wolf. Oh, I forgot. You said it earlier.
Wait, what was your other favorite series?
Oh, The Flash.
The Flash, yes.
Yeah.
Man, before growing up, I wasn't much of like a comic book kid or this or that or those type of. I mean, I liked DC, Marvel. I didn't really care much about them until like a little bit over middle school. I started getting really into them, reading all the comics, getting the backstory of all these characters. DC is my favorite. I like DC over Marvel, but I still obviously love Marvel. But DC is just serious, darker, and I like a lot of things.
Does The Flash stream on anything?
It's the CW. It's on the CW show. It's also on the CW app, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, maybe because I didn't watch that. I was a big Smallville fan.
Smallville fan. I haven't seen Smallville. I know a lot about it. I've heard a lot of references. I've seen a lot of like breakdowns where they try to mention, the Superman. Like I watch a lot of Superman series as well, but I haven't seen Smallville.
Yeah. It was a good Superman series. 10 seasons.
Funny enough, Flash had a crossover. Where sometimes all the superheroes cross over from different Earths, different dimensions. So they brought back Smallville Superman, like from a different dimension. They brought back 1990 something's Flash from a different dimension. It was just CW doesn't miss. They do not miss. Yeah. They're always
they
on
do
target.
They do a good job.
Definitely one of my favorite. If you were to ask me what superpower I'd want, I had to choose one. I choose the Flash because people undermine him so much. The dude is really not just, he can just run fast. Okay, he can throw lightning. He can phase through walls. He can.
I gotta check it. I gotta check that out. I knew I would like it, but I just never
love it. Oh my gosh,
because I like those.
Pretty sure the 8th season just came out, and I'm so mad I wasn't thinking about getting the audition because I forget I can audition for shows that I like because I'm an actor now. I forget sometimes. I literally just usually do whatever's given to me.
That's awesome. Well, I hope that dream comes true for you. Before I let you go, Ozie, do you have a favorite life lesson or motto that you live by?
I like to say there's so many, especially the type of parents I have that are always instilling this type of knowledge into me and brother, like constantly. But I would say one, as far as industry wise, be humble. Be humble. You're not gonna go anywhere with being some type of greedy, egotistical, just type of person. It's not only just because that makes you a bad person, but like it's going to get you farther in life. Yeah, you can be thinking, okay, let's say you're in my position or anybody's position that's doing pretty well in life right now doing this. It doesn't mean you're going to be doing this well forever, man. So just stop all the bragging, the this, the that. Stay humble. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't down anybody else's craft or anything. You know what I mean? Just stay in your lane and keep pushing.
Couldn't agree more. Bravo. So nice to meet you, Ozie. Continued success. Everybody tune into Swagger. Episode 6 airs tomorrow night on Apple Plus. Have a great evening. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. You too.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks, everybody, for joining me today. Thanks to Ozie for stopping by. Again, Swagger, Apple Plus. Tune in tomorrow for episode 6. Join me tomorrow afternoon for an author's afternoon when Jennifer Armstrong joins me to talk about her new book, When Women Invented Television. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. Turn on the notification for reminders of all upcoming shows. Have a great evening, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Bye-bye.